Okay, today we are going to be talking about how to win a featured dojo contest in Warframe. Now the first part of this is going to sound really memey, but I swear to God it's actually me being dead serious. And then I'll get a lot more serious later into the video. But for context, I'll reference this spreadsheet several times in this video, but I compiled every single entry for every contest along with the winners, so that way I would have a lot more data to help back up what I say. So a lot of people think that you have to be some godly decorator in order to win anything in the Featured Dojo Contest. That may have been true at one point, but that is definitely not the case any longer. There's still competition, don't get me wrong, but there are areas where it just doesn't exist because there are different tiers at which you can compete. The first method to win at the Featured Dojo Contest is to switch to Moon tier. That isn't even a joke. Only 7% of all contest entries ever, so 2,155, are from Moon clans, as opposed to about 35% roughly that are Ghost. So in terms of hardest to win to easiest to win, it goes from Ghost to Moon, like literally straight up that ladder. If you want an easier win, Moon is the way to go. Mountain is still pretty easy in a lot of cases, but there can be some competition. And then as you get closer to Ghost, going to Storm and Shadow, that's where things get a lot more difficult. Now we've nailed down the tier at which you can submit to win. And then as for the contest to submit to win, statistically winter of any year is going to be the easiest to participate in. And then the hardest would be summer of any year, because summer is after like TennoCon and some other stuff. There's usually another spike in participation, and then it dies down for winter and starts to pick back up again. So if you do want a tier and a win to submit, choose winter of any given year and then submit in mountain or moon. And if you want to do that, that's going to be frowned upon by literally everyone around you, but you'll have your win, so who cares? Some of you might ask, Vash, if it's frowned upon, then why are you talking about it? And the answer is, I'm just covering all of my bases. You guys should recognize that if you switch tiers the day before and then enter, Helen and the dojo team are probably going to notice that, and they probably won't like it. So if you're going to try and pull this bullshit, you should at least make it believable. Next way to win, if you happen to suck at decorating, or you're just never going to bother because you're a bum like that, then hire someone to do it for you. Trading decoration for plat isn't necessarily against terms of service, but it's not enforced by DE. This requires massive, absolute trust between the decorator and the employer per se. I do not ever recommend doing this because the decorator could run off with your plat, or the employer could take your plat and just not ever give it to you. Like, there's so many ways to screw people over there, which is why I would say never ever do this. If you are going to try and find someone to do this, because I know people do it all the time, people pop into my Discord and say, hey Vash, can you tell me a few decorators that I could hire? And the answer is no. Then make sure it's someone that you have absolute trust in. Again, this one is also frowned upon as well. Alright, and now we're going to move on to the people that are serious about decorating and are serious about winning legitimately. I'm going to be reading from Winter 2021's contest rules, where they say that they begin narrowing down submissions to top submissions, and the team looks for two traits above all in the process: creativity and quality. Under creativity, they say, we love unique designs. Some examples of rooms that blew us away in the past were fully stocked libraries, train stations, arcades, and pirate ships. Whether your decorating style focuses on small details or big structures, we appreciate the creativity that you put into your work. Quality says, only filling a room with decorations will not secure your victory when there's stiff competition. Be thoughtful about how you choose to place decorations. The best dojos we've seen have conveyed stories and themes. Make the decorations your own. And then down below it says, large structures are impressive, but keep in mind that small details set winning submissions apart from top submissions. Focus on creating an immersive atmosphere with details that we can't ignore. Make your dojo a testament to your unique clan. The first thing I would like to address is nowhere in there does it say, I would like a light novel submission on your clan lore, because no one gives an actual shit about that. It may have said that in like the remaster contest, I don't recall, I'll have to double check, but they don't have it anymore, which means they don't need to read it. Please stop adding your clan lore. The other thing is, nowhere in here does it say, hey, we hope you have a good layout, okay? No one gives a shit about your layout at all. It doesn't matter. This isn't a dojo layout contest. This is a dojo decoration contest. So don't post a picture of your layout. Don't chew people out that may have won or not for having a weird jank layout, because it's not a relevant factor in the contest. So I just wanted to get those two out of the way. And then the other thing is, I know it says small details several times, but there are people I know that are getting way too hung up and literal with that word, or with those words, my bad. Small details does not mean you need to go to the microscopic level and blow all your capacity in something that can fit in my fist, because that's not going to work and it's not worth it. And you also shouldn't be upset if they pass over you because you made something so microscopic in comparison to what you could have done. So I'm going to break down how I view rooms and how I would kind of judge them when I see them. Now keep in mind that while yes, I did help with the Winter 2021 contest judging and I was a guest judge, that this does not reflect the actual process for judging. Nor does it reflect the opinions of anyone in DE. This is literally just my own stuff that I have in terms of judging what I believe is good. So in the room breakdown, there are three main types of rooms. There is the masked room. A masked room is where the base room has been completely covered and transformed. A good masked room is transformed. A bad masked room is only covered, and you can still tell exactly what room you're in just from looking around. The next type of room is a blended room. A blended room is where the base room is still visible, but it's the decorator attempted to augment or only transform a part of it. So that an example would be like someone put like golden Oregon trim along the walls and then did nothing else. That's a terrible room. But there can be okay blended rooms. And then the third type of room is an object room. And that is a room where almost no effort went into decorating the room itself, but there is an object or a sculpture inside that has so much detail that the rest doesn't matter. And so it is the object of focus, and that's the only thing that matters in that room. And those ones are usually sculptures. It can be other stuff too. Basically, you need to make sure that it's good enough to make the rest of it not matter. I would say that object rooms and masked rooms definitely win over blended rooms. A masked room can have sculpts in it, and that's still going to be a masked room if they took the time to, cover things like they should have. I think a masked room is going to trump over everything, and if you can do a masked room with an object in it, then that's going to be a huge winner compared to anything else you could possibly manage. I also think that they like to see things that they've never seen before. I know a lot of people will say that it's the same stuff over and over that keeps winning, but that's not quite the case. In my opinion, they very much do like to see new stuff. So if you were to, say, at the time of this recording, use the Parvos Granum Corpus Decor that was released recently, you would have a significantly higher chance of winning if you were to pull that off successfully with a masked room or a masked and object room, and that would just work a lot better for you, since that's something they've never seen before, and compared to what everyone else has, you're going to stand apart. This one isn't necessarily something I believe affects contests, as it is just my opinion of good rooms, but try to make sure you manage the space correctly. I walked into a dojo one time, and you walk into the inspiration hall, and the first thing you see looking up, not like 2 feet above your Warframe, is a checkered ceiling made from tributas. And so they used like 1/10 of the height of an inspiration hall just so they could have a checkered ceiling. And that was just the most wasteful thing I've ever seen done in an inspiration hall. It just tanks their FPS a little bit and then does nothing else. That was just a waste of the room. In open space, I think that's a bit different, because open space is meant to be high capacity and free to do whatever you want. There's no room bounds, basically. But in an inspiration hall, try to make sure you're not doing something that should have been done in a garden, and then, conversely, make sure that you're not doing something in a garden that should have been done in an inspiration hall or in an open space room. Next, I want to cover when you should submit. The biggest key factor is when you think you are ready. You shouldn't necessarily compare yourself to everyone else, because every contest is different. You really don't know for sure who's going to win. A prime example of that would be when I didn't actually win when I submitted the only time I have. I ended up getting second place, which you could consider a win, but to me that's a loss. It is what it is. But there's honestly no way to know. So if you're ready, you should submit. I know a lot of people that say you should decorate the whole dojo before you do it. No, because if you decorate the whole dojo, Warframe will be dead and gone by the time you finish, and it will just be way too late, and you're wasting all of your time, and you're just going to burn yourself out. So if you're wanting a specific room number to have, I'm telling you, you need 10 good rooms that you are proud of. each and every one of them. Because if you are not proud of 10 rooms, you're not going to win with 30 plus that you're not proud of, or even 128. If you filled up the entire dojo and it's mediocre crap, you're not going to win. So get at least 10 that you can be proud of. 10 is all you need to win. I can promise you that. I think that if you can pull that off, then you are going to have a significantly higher chance of getting second or third. If you want to aim for first, you need to have at least one room that is kind of mind-blowing. It has like a wow factor. So when they see it, they're going to know, wow, this guy is actually fucking nuts. And so basically, especially like in Ghost tier, if you're in Ghost, the competition is usually pretty heavy. So if you're going to submit there with a great dojo, then that's fine. But you should expect second or third. But you need to have things that set you apart from the other great dojos, or else you're not going to get first. And then as a almost final note, we're going to talk about themed dojos versus non-themed dojos. This was a topic that came up on the most recent stream that I did. We were discussing doing, say, like an all Orokin dojo, and this is a debate that I've had with some people in my Discord as well. But I do not believe that a fully uniformed theme dojo is going to be good. And I'll use the same reasoning that I did on the stream, and that's if you are able to make a decent Orokin room and then you make it a decent Orokin dojo by making every room decent in Orokin, then great, you have a decent dojo. But there's no variation. You might change it up here and there, but eventually you're constraining yourself to the same decorations. And don't get me wrong, there's an infinite way to use all of those, but you're going to do things the same eventually, and it's going to get repetitive, and people are going to gloss over it because they're going to think it's the same stuff over and over, and it's not going to bode well for you. I don't feel like a themed dojo often wins. I can only think of one off the top of my head, and I'm not necessarily a fan of that dojo to begin with. Otherwise, like, I don't really care if it's jarring, as it's been said, to walk from a pristine chapel and then go into the next room and you're in a frozen tundra. I don't really think it matters. I think that argument is kind of the same as the people that say the layout matters, because it doesn't. It's completely irrelevant. You should be able to show a variety of different things, and in my opinion, the larger the variety of things that you can show your skill in, the higher chance of winning you have, because you have more stuff that can set you apart compared to everyone else. So in review, the best ways to win if you are serious is to make sure that you have at least 10 masked or object rooms that you are proud of, that you are content showing to other people, that you aren't going to be embarrassed in the slightest about. If you want to boost your chances, you should use the newer decorations. You should also have a variety of different rooms. If you have a uniform theme, that will deter your chances, at least in my opinion. And then just submit when you're ready. Don't wait 10 years. If you keep waiting, you're never going to win. And then before I wrap up this video, a while back I asked you guys what questions or concerns did you have about the dojo contests, and I got a lot of good replies, and I have a quick Q&A video answering some of those questions. I decided not to include it in this one, so I'll have a separate video publishing soon after this one with that Q&A if you'd like to have it.